Yo, what is good? Today I'm going to teach you an instant vertical jump fix to jump higher off 1 foot. Woo!
Baby, you think a little too small. I got big goals, baby.
What's good, guys? Coach Steve here with ILoveBasketballTV. If you're new here, we do videos every single week, so hit that subscribe button, hit that notification button. I help you get your hops up, so if you hit that button, you will be doing the dunking and not being the one getting dunked on. Let's go. All right, guys, so let's get right into it. I'm going to give you 4 fixes, and we're going to work backwards, and you're going to see how they all work together to help you jump higher instantly. Okay, so the first thing I notice a lot of times is we are always trying to just get off the ground as quick as we can, and we don't solidly plant this foot. So you need to solidly plant this foot. That's why we always work on the dorsiflexion so much. So your foot wants to be like this instead of like this, okay? So try not to just step like this, because then you're missing a big part of your foot. You're missing the ball of your foot, which could be the strongest part of your foot. And if you avoid that, you're jumping off your toes, which could be the weakest part of your foot. So if you can make that big of a flip from jumping off the weakest to jumping off the strongest and using all that force, that is one of the biggest quick fixes that can make a big change in your instant vertical jump. Now, the next one with that is the knee drive. So when you have that solid plant, you're able to drive that knee up. Now, the thing about the knee drive is a lot of times we're bringing speed into it, which you'll get into and you'll see how it connects, is that I want you to really focus on driving that knee up. Because a lot of times we're running forwards, that we jump naturally, we jump with that knee drive, but we're thinking forward because it's another stride. Our body's in motion to keep running. So we're running, and then we think to just drive the knee, but it's not just drive it forward. You want to think about driving it up your body, up to your own chin. That's how directly up, because we're bringing so much speed, you want this knee to drive up, because that's where you want to take off. You don't have to worry about jumping forwards because you have a lot of momentum going forwards. So far we have the plant of the ball of your foot plus the knee drive going up. You can see how already we're going into a stronger plant. We're going to really, and again, you don't want to stomp into the floor. I'm just over exaggerating it so you can see, plant it solid, drive that knee up, and that leads me to the next one, which is core. A really strong core, keeping it core tight, you're going to understand, or you're going to feel that you're able to absorb this, right? So if you're like this, or you film yourself and you're like this, you're losing that core. Right here, you're not flexing. If you took a punch like this, it's really hard to flex it, but as soon as you engage and you can take that punch, you're not going to be leaning, right? You're going to be tight. So if you can keep this core tight and think about that, you're going to be able to drive that knee up harder, and you're going to be able to handle all that speed. So that leads me into my last fix, and then I'm going to show you how they all work together in sync. And the last one is running at full speed or faster. For me, I had to tell myself to run faster and do less. And let me explain. So one thing about running faster is you can't stutter step. Because when people stutter step, they're already losing momentum, they're already losing rhythm. And that is a huge part of generating as much speed and power as you can. So 2 things with running faster. The first one is count your steps. Be very deliberate with your steps. It should be every step should be almost exactly the same spot every time when you're practicing your vertical jump, because then you're going to really get better. It's just like lifting weights. When you do a deadlift or a squat, if you have correct form, you're going to get better in that form. If you keep trying to just add more weight, which is adding more speed without the correct form, your form's going to get worse and worse and worse, and you're going to be rounding your back. So with vertical jump, you want to carve the right patterns, and you want that rhythm, and you want to generate as much speed as you can. So you have to be very deliberate with your steps. And what that means is no stutter stepping, line yourself up and keep those steps going, and every step is faster. So that's what I mean by running faster. When I was trying to do my 2-foot jumping, I always feel like I'm loading up, but when you watch the videos, every single step is faster. It's just that the last 2 steps, you're planting off 2 feet, that it feels like you're stopping and then taking off, but you're really planting even faster. So for 1 foot, I used to want to slow down right here and load up, but I had to tell myself to keep running faster. And this is where you'll see all the fixes working together. So when I stopped stutter stepping and I kept running faster, I used my core. I planted correctly off this foot, because when I was trying to load up, I was just loading up like this, and it was just really slow. I stayed on that ball of the foot, not leaning back. I stayed upright. I used my core and I used my knee drive because I was up. But if I'm down here and trying to load up, my knee drive is going to go forward. And also I'm looking at the rim the whole time. So that way when I do the drive, I stay really high and I let my penultimate and I let my technique do the lowering for me. But I'm planting correctly, I'm driving correctly, I'm keeping my core engaged, which means I'm tight, and that all came from running faster, and I did less. So by doing that, it felt like I was doing less because I'm not loading or I'm not trying as hard, but really, by running faster and thinking less, because I have my steps in place, my positioning was correct, which allowed me to jump more accurately every time. And if you watch high jumpers, especially Coach Adam, back in his day, you'll see him, he looks like he's barely trying, and he pops up off that foot. He pops up super quick off that foot, and it looks like effortless. He's just like this, boom, and he just really springs off that one foot. So if you're able to run faster, be deliberate with your steps, don't lose any momentum, don't lose any energy by stutter stepping, and then you're in your head where your rhythm's really off, and then you're also planting correctly off that ball of your foot, really the strongest part of your foot, driving that knee upwards, keeping that core tight, looking up at that rim the whole time. All those things added up, you will instantly jump higher by a lot. All right, guys, I hope these fixes really helped you today. And as always, it's up to you to put in the work. It's up to you to go push yourself. It's up to you to test your own limits. When you test your limits, you realize you have no limits. It's just a matter of how hard you're willing to push yourself and never giving up. So I'll see you next week. Comment any questions you have. Me or one of the coaches will get back to you instantly. So go hard and never give up.
Yeah, I'm shining bright, got me feeling like I'm next up. Feeling like I'm Curry, how I'm balling on a West Wall. If you told me back then,